Quidditch World Cup. 2, 1, go.
Good luck.
Good luck to you both. And here we are. We're off. Yeah, so we have Tedder versus Fract. This is the last match of the first round of the top 8. I should have done something different with the timer. Both the timers, I'm going to have to take 10 seconds off at the end. I'll need to remember to do that. But yeah, these... personally, this could be one of the better matches of this tournament. These two runners are currently set at... They were seeds 5 and 8 when they started. Once the tournament got underway, they immediately got PBs that put them within like 2 or 3 seconds of each other. These runners are incredibly close in time. Yeah, it is me commentating today instead of Liam. Liam has a lot of things to prepare for this weekend. He has a different event going on. So I offered to restream this match instead. I need to turn on game audio. You will also have to tell me if one of the games is too loud. Or if the game is too loud or if voice is too loud. Yeah. So yeah, these guys are really close together. I think their PBs are about 10-15 seconds apart from each other. Fract very recently got a PB. Yeah, both of these guys are really very skilled at this game. Fract has been playing since like 2013, 2014. He's a previous world record holder in HB3. I don't know if he's held the better 90% record. I know he's held the 90% record at least one point. But yeah, and he's been playing on and off for the last like 5 years. He's a very skilled runner. Ted is a lot newer to HB3. He's been around the community for a while, but he hasn't been speedrunning HB3 for very long. But he's put in a ton of practice for this, so we're going to see how this goes. Both of them getting Scabber Skip. Ted just a little cleaner than Fract. I believe it was Ted that found this trick in the first place. About 2 years ago. I was going to bring up their PBs. I should mention the winner of this match will go on to face me in winners semis. The loser of this match goes on to face Resp in the first round of losers. I believe that's the right pairing. Yeah. What Fract has a... Yeah, there's a 10-second difference between these two guys' PBs. I think both of them have pretty consistently played about 40 seconds to a minute behind their PB in this tournament. Fract usually getting times in the mid-50s, Ted getting times closer to 51. Ted does have slower loads than Fract, I think by about... Oh, what is it? 20, 30 seconds. Fairly significant. So that is something that Ted is going to have to work to make up for. He has to make up about 30 seconds of load time based on just his gameplay. And doing it against a player who has a slightly better PB. So, yeah, looking at just the numbers, it seems like Ted's going to end up having a disadvantage, but with a game like this, you can never tell. We've seen something like 8 library softlocks in this tournament. All of them done on what is supposed to be the safe strat, so... We've had runners fail window jump, we've had runners fail imp skip in Carpe Final. Carpe and Carpe Final can both be brutal if you fall off of cycle. Falling off cycle usually means that the typical Tarzan swings are going to put you just a little bit off. There's going to be platforms in the way. You might have to wait to get back on cycle. There's a lot of ways that this game can swing pretty drastically. But yeah, we'll see where it goes. That was not my intention, Emily. That was not my intention. Thank you for the host, Nixo. How was HP2 cutscene percent? How did that go for you? I did not pay attention to how many pages they got. So apparently Ted managed to figure out a way to make the fast cutscene skip at the end of Train more consistent. I'm not entirely sure how that ends up working out. I haven't seen many results from it, but who knows? It's a very strange cutscene. Soft locked in. I was about to ask, was it in the bathroom cutscene after Dumbledore skipped? Did Ron just never show up? Oh, so it's an actual soft lock then.
You'll do fine. Just step through this door to begin. Welcome to the Carpe Retractum Challenge Drop. There are 10 challenge shields scattered throughout the challenge. Some are welded. Find all 10 shields to earn a visit to the...
It does seem like they really try to go for that, because he kind of sounds dopey too, does dopey things. All leading up to how they decided to portray him in HP4 as just a straight bumbling idiot. Always screaming about beans.
See if you can find a statue to cast the spell at. Then watch what happens.
Only Ted going for first stream swing. A lot of these there's a lot of swings in Carpe that are kind of high risk for fairly low reward. Most of the swings in Carpe only save 5 seconds. The swing Ted tried to go for there is one similar, but he hit the cutscene trigger, which is going to cost him about 10 seconds. So Fract looks like he's ahead, but there's the 10-second difference, so we'll have to see. We'll have to see how they're doing at a later point.
Go ahead, Ron. See if you can pick up. Perfect, Ron. Now let's put your training to the test. To the test?
Basically tied. That sounds about right. Fract almost getting a cracker throw. If you stand in the right spot and move in the right way, you can get those imps to throw a cracker through the painting. It's not terribly consistent. We just kind of know ways to make it more likely. Very nicely executed fourth shield swing from Ted. Now Fract coming up to try the same thing. Doesn't get quite as much speed. Bounces against the bottom. Oh no. Okay. Gets it lined up better. It's too far to the left and bounces to the side. This trick can be very testy. Okay, that looks like a much better swing. That should make it if he just lets go at the right time. Yeah, so that's about a 10-15 second loss. Nothing that can't be recovered though. Excellent first crab from Ted. Pretty decent second crabs. Um, these crabs are on a global cycle, it seems like. The amount of time that it takes for you to get to these crabs since you've started the level will determine how far in the room they've walked. So usually, if you get every swing quickly, the crabs will just barely be in a bad spot. Man, these two look like they have the exact same crab pattern. Um, or like if you get like a perfect carpe, they'll be in a perfect spot to put them in. But if you're just a little bit too slow, they'll end up off. Fract missing fifth room swing, taking a second to wait for the platform to line up before going for it again. Ooh, has a bad second swing. Textbook input from Ted. Yeah, Frac's having trouble. That's what happens in Carpe. Yeah, very good Carpe from Ted. Only real mistake being hitting the cutscene at the end of that second room. About a minute's difference between the two. Second half of Carpe is about a minute long. There's 10 seconds in difference just based on when they started. And I should mention again that Fract has a 30 to 40 second advantage in the load times alone. So if they keep this pace through the entire run, they should be just about even by the end. Ted getting first try Fred and George skip, taking that second to line it up before he jumps over the bridge. There we go. That second half of Carpe went much better for Fract than the first. We'll see how Fred and George skip fares.
What's that thing? I hope Hagrid doesn't expect us to touch it.
Meanwhile, I'm expecting to be very distracted for the second half of this race. We've got the Nintendo Direct starting in 10 minutes. And we've been waiting for 5 months. Excited to see how that's going to happen.
You first, Harry. Just walk up to Beaky and give him a bow.
So, anybody have any predictions for how the race is going to go? Yeah, there's a Nintendo Direct starting in 10 minutes. Yeah, any predictions for the race? Who's on Team Fract? Who's on Team Ted? I saw that Emmy was saying Team Fract. I saw that Styx was saying Team Tedder. Zolly's on Team Fract. Now this is something that we haven't seen in this tournament. I don't think we will. As much as we hate to admit it, it is entirely possible to fail white rings. Ted has to get pretty much every ring from here on out to pass. He's got to get this bottom one. Okay. Team no investment. Nixo's on Team Fract. Failing white rings. I know I failed white rings recently. I can't remember. I think it was like right before or right after my race with Amir. I had failed white rings. I bounced off of the wall and it pushed me just above the ring. Yeah, I think it happened to Coffee pretty recently too. It's like replaying a final exam. It's something that happens to everyone. And then as soon as it happens, you never want it to happen again. That's just it. You're suddenly on alert. It's not happening again. Yeah, so being one to say that I have failed White Rings twice is not particularly exciting. Looks like Ted got the fast cutscene. Yeah, you zone. That's the big thing. The thing about White Rings is that it's so easy. There's so little to think about that after a while it just becomes like total muscle memory, and you zone out. And as soon as you zone out, something goes wrong.
I don't like the look of that armor.
He's locked us in.
It's more or less the same thing with replaying final exams.
Ron, get ready to use your carpet retractum spell.
Yeah, it's in races. Those are the times where you're really thinking, I really can't mess this up. I really can't hit replay. So as much as I would love... Well, I don't think people are going to be zoning out during these races. I can point to 3 or 4 races that have happened, though, where somebody has replayed a final exam. All of them included me. And all of them also included Liam. Oh, oh dear.
You were brilliant, Ron. It's easy to be brilliant when you're scared.
Yeah, Liam and I did a
We'd better get on.
series of races about a year ago, and I think 3 races in a row, either one or both of us replayed Carpe Final. The third one, I replayed Carpe Final and you got world record, so yeah. I remember these. There's a reason why I call that pulling a monkey.
Are there any questions?
Professor McGonagall, are werewolves animagi?
No, they're not. Animagi turn into animals at will. A werewolf cannot control its transformation. Now for today.
That's what I call pulling a monkey. That's not what Liam calls pulling a monkey. He has his own definition for that.
Go at the exercise I've prepared.
Me? Oh, yes.
If you'll just step through this door, then... Let's begin with the Lapifort spell, Miss Granger.
Right. Lapifors, the transformation of a small object into a rabbit.
Correct, Miss Granger. 5 house points for Gryffindor.
My favorite is still pulling a pokey. Having done that is fun.
Use the arrow keys to move the rabbit in the desired direction.
Ted kinda
Mouse button will make the rabbit hop. Push the forward arrow.
freaking out with the monkey there, or the bunny there. Oh dear.
Well, press the enter key anytime you wish to stop the spell. Position the
Having
rabbit
difficulty getting through the
Complete
hole.
task at hand with the rabbit, and the spell will stop
Right.
on its own.
Use the left mouse button to chew or dig.
Splendid, Miss Granger.
Choosing not to skip the cutscene. Apparently that's supposed to be as fast or faster than skipping it. It seems like one of those that's just a very small difference. Now we've got Ted coming up with well skip. I'm assuming he's going to go for the better one. Oh yeah, look at that. Perfect well skip.
Now let's move on to the Draconifor's spell. Cast on the
I'm not sure. Amir went through and tested it all, and I think he just recorded everything and then compared the times. Ooh, Ted getting a flawless F9 lag jump 2 in a row. That was very nice. No, that well skip was almost flawless. I don't think even Monkey can beat that. That was good. Fract having a little bit more difficulty. There he goes. Just had to realign a bit. And then I believe Fract has a lot of difficulty with lag jumps, so we'll see if he goes for them, see what he gets off of it. He's choosing not to go for them. That is... In a race tournament setting, that is something that I think can be a very smart idea. As I mentioned during Ent's race, once you start doing lag jumps, once you start attempting, if it's not working, you kind of just want to bail. It's probably not going to start working if you just keep mashing. Yeah, what I did, I had a lag jump fail in my first race, the tournament, and that was what I went for. I went for it once, and then decided, no, I'm not gonna keep going for this. I'm just gonna take the time loss and do the room regular.
You can jump on top of it to see if it will produce a reward.
Ted is maintaining a fairly healthy lead. This is continuing to be a fairly clean run. Only one significant mistake so far that I've seen. Now we've got Maze Skip coming up. Ted is in the lead by about 30 to 40 seconds, I'd guess. Very good Maze Skip. Yeah, Tedder is playing very well right now. Fract has had some difficulty in Carpe. Other than that, he's been playing quite well too.
Nicely done, Miss Granger. You've completed the challenge.
Just a couple of extra little mistakes.
You'll need to collect all 10 challenge shields to earn a visit to the Bean bonus room. You may take the challenge again anytime you please.
Thank you, Professor McGonagall. You can be certain I'll get all of the shields next time.
Hermione! There you are! How was it?
Excellent. I can
Now I've got Fract coming up on Imps and Maze Skip.
Burn down the village, sort of dragon.
Not very successfully manipulating the Imps. Usually with Imps you want to try to keep them in groups of 2. There's a lot of ways that you can use your movement to try to convince them to move in a way that you'd like. Clean door skip though, or door jump, or maze skip, whatever you want to call it. Manipulating Imps into groups of 2 is usually a very safe way to go about doing Imp fights. And that is one of the rooms that has a better manipulation for it. One that Senna likes to use a lot. Works quite well. One of the annoying things or disappointing things about going for imp manipulations is it's usually hard to get more than 2 imps in a single cracker. So getting the 4 or 6 imps in one shot doesn't really happen very often if you're going for manipulations, but it means that the fights are always consistent. You're not losing significant portions of the time, you're just missing out on time save, if that makes sense.
Now we obviously can't bring a real Dementor into the castle, so we'll make do with a boggart. The boggart will appear as the thing you fear the most, which in your case, Harry, is fear in the form.
Looks like that prediction was right.
First, we'll practice on a target. Aim your wand at the target. Then, hold down the left mouse button to build the spell's power. You'll see a
Imp
ring of
glitch?
light around your arm.
Yeah.
For a perfect
So,
you must release the spell.
what Zali is referring to, I believe, is something that can happen on
The incantation
pretty much any set of imps.
Right.
Sometimes randomly when you attack an imp, well, this it's not very well understood. What we think is happening is sometimes when you'll attack an imp, they won't disappear after they've been killed, but the game will think that they're dead. So a door can open or a platform can appear while their imp's still on screen. Something that's fairly rare. It happens most frequently. It happens in what is it in Transfig? But yeah, it's always very exciting when it happens. In Back in Time, because there are 8 imps, it gets extra exciting because sometimes you can get away without killing 2, 3, maybe 4 of them. Yeah, something that's still not very well understood at all, but is something that happens. Ted releasing just a little bit early on that cast. Ooh, going backwards. So one thing about this game is we've had a lot of micro time saves showing up recently. One thing that Liam and I both found independently is that, actually probably a lot of people found, is that if you can hug one of the walls as you're falling down to that last set of imps, and it'll put you closer to one side. And whenever you cast a spell, you have to consider that the spell takes a certain amount of time to reach its target. So by, say, hugging the left wall and then starting on the Dementor on the right and circling to the left, you can you'll spend less time. The amount of time it takes for your spell to hit the left Dementor will be slightly lower than usual, which will save like a couple of frames. Yeah, little micro time saves. Ted making it through library without a softlock. As I mentioned earlier, there's been something like 10 library softlocks, all of which done on the safe strat, presumably safe strat, and all of the fast strat attempts have been successful without a softlock, so yeah. Library not being particularly friendly. Looks like there's about 35 to 40 second difference between Fract and Ted right now. Yeah, the safe strat. It's supposed to be the safer strat, but clearly it's not much of a difference. Fract gets the swing, and he gets it. He's safe. Okay. So no softlock today for these two. Ted making it into Glacius. Glacius is one of the stranger areas for speedrunning. Simply because there's not much room to save or lose time, especially in the first room of this area. Or in the first half of this area. In the second half, there's a lot more chance for time save or time loss, but this first half of Glacius is typically very consistent. There's no big tricks you have to go for, it's just a lot of small movement. Oh no. That's it! That's it! What? What? Yeah, there's a Nintendo Direct going on right now, which I am being distracted by. Frankly, this is one of the better spots to be distracted. There's nothing much going on. but oh no. Hey, let's talk about a Switch 3.0 update and then not say anything about it. Fun. Okay, Ted is coming up on the second half of Glacius. Immediately once he enters, there's a trick that he's going to go for that saves quite a bit of time. It's one of the most significant time saves in this run. He's going to go for a jump in Glacius. That's going to skip these side rooms, and he gets it. He's going to use a moving platform boost, using the momentum of the platform, or the speed of the platform moving, in combination with his jump to get an extra jump height. Your SSD is full from watching Twitch? How does that happen? Okay, and Ted gets pretty decent imps. Ted is not showing his splits. I'd imagine he doesn't even have them open. He was trying to get his loads as fast as he could. I'm gonna try to figure out how far apart these runs are. Oh, Fract missing the jump. Jumped a little bit late, so the platform had already risen by the time he got there. Chose to close the game and reopen. I know he has difficulty with lag jumps. You can use lag jumps as a backup, but he wasn't able to get it. Yeah, there is still plenty of time. There are still plenty of spots for significant mistakes. Finals can be brutal. There's a lot of room to lose a lot of time in finals. Frankly, there's a bit of room in back end time as well. Imps can cost a lot of time. You can always fall off the pillars at the top. Yeah, there's still a good ways, a lot of time for this to change. Depends what you mean by choke, Zali. Resp and I both had fairly significant chokes on finals. Neither of those chokes was enough that it... Like, I didn't choke enough to swing it back to Resp, and he didn't swing it enough to swing it to me. Or he didn't choke enough to swing it to me, but... there have been quite significant time losses in finals. I just don't think it's ever cost anyone a win.
Poor Hagrid. They've carried out the execution. Look, it's Scabbers.
Yeah, I don't think that's happened before, but we've seen plenty of significant time losses. Yeah, so Fract is a little bit over a minute behind at this point.
I've got to, you naughty rats.
At this point, he has to just hope that Ted's gonna mess up. That's a lot of time lost to have to work back from.
That dog can get in. We can.
That being said, this is still the first round of top 8, so a loss does not remove them from the tournament. This is a double elimination bracket, so one loss simply means they have a longer fight ahead of them than they probably would have hoped.
Thank goodness. Chocolate frogs.
Just barely didn't wait long enough on that first skeleton. This is most of the difficulty in Shrieking Shack, is figuring how long you have to wait before Hermione's going to join in on the cast.
You're quite impressive with that glacius charm, Harry.
Thanks. But we're not done yet.
Yeah, this is a very strange split. It is quite boring, yet there is still a significant amount of time that can be saved in this area. But it's also just really hard to tell how to save that time. Very strange split. This is one split where you usually won't see any significant time losses, though. There aren't any big tricks you have to go for. Double ledge grab skip only saves a couple of frames, but... This is indeed the only race today. This race was originally going to take place on Saturday, but Ted got sick for a couple days and wanted to postpone it so that he'd be able to get better before the race. Liam is out of commission for the week. He is organizing a cubing competition, which is taking place over the weekend. So all of his time is currently going into that. So that is the reason why I am currently broadcasting this instead of Liam. Oh dear. Yeah, so we probably won't even see a schedule for the next round of the tournament until after that's a couple of days over. It's in
Where's the dog?
Quebec City?
It's not a dog.
There's no need to be afraid. Sirius Black is not what you think he is. And Scabbers, he's not a rat. He's a wizard by the name of Peter Pettigrew.
What?
Watch.
Oh wow. That's a...
Can you explain?
That's 1,000-kilometer distance?
It wasn't Sirius Black who betrayed your parents, Harry. It was Pettigrew.
400 miles or so. The rat was Pettigrew all along. 600 or 700. Oh yeah. Probably going around Maine or something, I suppose. Looks like Ted just missed an early cast. I'm not paying attention. Oh dear. Yeah, so if you start a cast on these Dementors right at the very end of the cycle, because the spells travel in the air for quite a while, you can get them to kind of... You can sometimes snipe a Dementor in the next round using a cast from the first. Yeah, I don't know what I'm saying. Ted isn't going for his ridiculous strat. We'll never blame anyone for that.
Oh no! The door closed!
Well, there's got to be a way out. Nice one, Miles.
24 languages. Only 24. How disappointing.
Does that help?
Well, it is the World Cubing Association for a reason. Ooh, Ted getting a... Oh, I would... Almost a very good imps, but those last two kind of hurt. Fract just now entering back in time.
A lot of good that did. Now we're both stuck in here.
Ted fell down? Did I just not notice? Wow, I'm just not paying attention. Oh no. Yeah. Fract getting screwed over by imps. Yes, somewhat close. It's going to come down to Carpe and Transfig. Did he get a... I need to pay more attention. I need to stop getting distracted by things. Missing the snipe on that cast. Fract having some difficulty with the turn cast. Looks like he's aiming high. There you go. Still looks like it's over a minute of difference between the two. We're at a point where even a significant time loss in a final is still keeping this in Ted's favor. Even replaying a final exam, I think Ted would still be in the lead. So that, is he going to go for it? Okay, yeah. So Ted is now a full cycle behind. That is a 20-second time loss to miss that cycle. Or 15 to 20-second time loss. Gets it on the third one. So that's going to narrow the gap a bit. It's not going to close it, but it's going to make a bit of a difference. That's another half cycle. Hugs the wall so that he lands on the inside. He now kind of needs to go for the window jump if he wants to make this cycle. Okay, got the third one. Yeah, if he... I think he's going to be just late on this. Yeah, and he realizes it. So that's 2 cycles lost. That's about 30 to 40 seconds. There's only a 30-second time difference now. Failing imp skip, failing window jump puts this even. Let's see. Ted lands on the platform 4508. Fract gets the fast cycle. Ted gets the first swing and gets the second. Don't hit replay? Okay. So there is a 16-second difference between the two. This could even go to RNG at this point. Ted lost 3 cycles. Ow. Line this up. That's a little close. Okay. There we go. So Ted gets window jump. That's also a little close. If he were in a different spot, he probably would have fallen through. Fract right there. That's a little terrifying. This very well may be the closest race. I'm not sure how far Nixo and I were apart. I think we were about 20 seconds, yeah. So, as of now, this is closer than Nixo and I, especially because there's still a couple of loading screens to go for Ted. So this could be our within 15-second match. I am mildly surprised we didn't see any of these. Didn't see any of those happen during the group stage. Ted ends final first but loses. I've been waiting for something like that to happen. For like one person to break a world record, but then the other person has slower load times. So yeah. Watch 2 people break the same record in the same race, and one... That has happened! Yeah, that happened with HP2 cutscene. That was Liam and Cinna. Cinna broke the world record, but had faster load times, so that when Liam got to the end, he had a faster loadless time. Ted going for the lag jump, he gets it. Fract needs to get that too if he wants to win this match. That's a 10-second time save. That, or he has to get an insane one. He has to get an insane... Oh, he's not going for it. Okay, he needs to get a very good final, and Ted needs to have some trouble. That lag jump is gonna help Ted quite a bit. Ted's a full room ahead of Fract. And looks like he's getting very clean, fairly clean crab shots. Fract having a little more difficulty. Very clean. That's going to save Ted some time. Fract's still having a bit of difficulty with the crabs. Rough imps for Ted. Okay, gets the last 2 in one shot. But that's gonna just about seal it. He is 2 mouse clicks away from coming out as the winner. Yeah, that's gonna be it. Ted's gonna take home the win.
Glad to see you three survived your final exams.
Oh, they were great fun.
Speak for yourself. I'll be having nightmares for months.
Well then, let's see whether you've completed all of your third-year requirements. Looks like you've got a few things to finish up yet. Off you go.
And it ends with about a 30-second difference between the two. For how far apart this run started, or this race started, this wound up pretty close together. Control, okay. Yeah, that was a 24-second difference.
Did I do it?
Yeah, you won.